Bro, how do you ignore Akira Toriyama? The dislike button. Whoa. Generic intro and the Duck Goes Moo here, back with another episode of What Happened by Matt McMuscles. Today we are doing Dragon Ball Evolution, which is a live-action Dragon Ball movie, and it's going to go exactly how you expect it to be. I have never seen this movie, but I believe I watched the Nostalgia Critic. Oh, I know I watched the Nostalgia Critic video on it, but I believe that was my very first time ever watching Nostalgia Critic. And now I believe Nostalgia Critic is the longest running, like, weekly series on my entire channel. And it all started because of Dragon Ball Evolution. So at least something good came from this movie. You can check my reaction to the last What Happened video, which was Godzilla 1998, which is a movie I've actually seen. It's the only Godzilla movie I've ever seen. You can check out my reaction to that. I'll leave it right up there. Also, link down below in the description, and maybe I'll make a playlist for all the Matt McMuscles videos if they keep coming out. You all seem to really enjoy these videos, and it's a good way for me to learn about these movies and shows and games and the development side of things, which I'm completely, like, maybe we'll understand what happened in Dragon Ball Evolution and why it was the way that it was. I learned a lot about Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom and Godzilla 1998 so far, and I look forward to understanding what went wrong with Dragon Ball Evolution besides the obvious. Shout out to the patrons. I could not do this if it was not for them. $3 a month to get you all my reaction videos a day early. I'm completely against paywalls because I'm here to make small, not big pay, and I read all your comments whether you're patron or not, whether you're subscribed or not. But I hope you are subscribed, as we are less than 5,000 subscribers away from 100,000 subscribers. So that'd be a crazy milestone. Oh man, it's gonna be insane. But thank you so much for being here. I hope I can make a day a tiny little bit better. But let's go jump into Dragon Ball Evolution. What happened? All right. Also, if you enjoy the video, likes are really important.
Minutes while being both entertained, educated,
but yeah,
and maybe even get slightly depressed. Matt McMuscles revealed the problems, both creative and financial, that plagued the most high-profile anime adaptation of all time.
I think it ruined any
Ball
chance
Evolution.
of a live-action Dragon Ball movie ever coming out.
What happened? Dragon Ball Evolution defeated.
I actually haven't never seen any original Dragon Ball content. I only know the abridged, and this is a different intro. What in the world? What happened? Wow, the budget increased. Let's go.
Yeah, okay, so we're doing this one, huh?
Why is he a skeleton?
All right. Let's burn some muscle. Dragon Ball Z is pretty big in the world of anime. In fact, it's pretty big in terms of media in general.
That's
and I'd be surprised if you haven't heard of it.
Trunks.
In the early 2000s, it was bolstered even further outside of Japan with the booming popularity of various dubs it received the world over.
Yeah.
It's over 9,000!
Wow, that's not Nick
and most
voicing Vegeta.
GT5.
I'm so used to the abridged. Well, it's actually... I mean, I play fighters.
Now, despite the manga and anime having been finished for years, it wasn't long before the money-sniffing noses of 20th Century Fox executives caught wind of the fact that blonde, spiky hair and screaming a lot was popular with the kids.
Screaming a lot?
Thus, they optioned
You gotta remember
the
Bean
movie
Struggles.
rights from Toei Animation
$100
and Dragon
million?
Ball creator Akira Toriyama, and
Rest in
then
peace, Akira Toriyama.
nothing at all. Remember, this was back in 2002 when Fox had announced they had acquired the rights and registered a movie domain, but it took them a further 7
was Fox
more
not making
years
movies?
until DB Evolution finally Dragon rushed into movie screens across the planet Earth.
Was it 2009?
Rather than that same Earth giving it its hope and its energy,
because then I just watched a Leprechaun kill count from Dead Meat
until it simply cratered into the ground. Now, why that 7-year gap, you ask? Well, a few reasons, but really only one reason. Fox couldn't find a director that was free.
What do you mean free? What do you mean free?
And gave a shit about Dragon Ball.
You mean like available?
The search to get a creative team together was an arduous one, with some wild names being thrown around at the time, including, but not limited to, Robert Rodriguez, who is busy down at the old Spy Kids factory. Zack Snyder. And most unbelievably of all, George Lucas, who was actually being courted since he had a working relationship with Fox, which it would have been just so mind-blowing. There would have been so many scenes of Goku and Chi-Chi just sitting down
I've never
on
seen
couches
Star Wars.
talking. Please tell me George at least
That's what everybody
filmed
watches
some
Dragonball
test
for.
scenes. I'm begging for this to still somehow happen.
The Lucas
Anyway,
cut.
none of these ambitious plans coalesced, and with that time taken trying to find the right Z fighters to take this project head on,
Did
the
it look good in the
popularity of
previews?
Dragon Ball
I
Z
can't
started
remember
to
if
wane
like
in the
people
later
actually like
half of the
went to the theaters
2000s,
to
or
see it.
at least enough for Fox to get increasingly worried about its profitability. I myself must confess I had long stopped slaving away at my AMVs hosted on dbzlegacy.com.
What? It's a music. Okay, that's what you say.
Stop showing it! Stop!
Animated music videos
and as
using.
Fox
Okay,
approached those
that's
late
actually
2000s,
funny.
and if you know anything about Hollywood filmmaking around that time, you might suspect
don't.
what's coming next.
No, I
Instead of the
don't.
producers continuing their
Oh,
search
they made
for
it their
the
own
perfect
thing?
filmmakers, the looming writers' strike was
Oh.
about to go into
How often
effect,
do those
which
happen?
rushed into production many other films circa around 2008. With this new cutoff point,
I actually
Fox
don't think I've
then
ever
had
seen a
to
James
settle
Bond movie.
for much less.
I played James Bond
And I
video
present
games
to
as a
you
little kid.
much less. Dragon Ball was going to be written by one Ben Ramsey, who at that point only had the obscure and 90s as shit The Big Hit as his only writing credit. In terms of directing
Never
and
heard of it.
producing, well, here's where things get interesting. Did I say interesting? I meant extremely confusing. Well,
Why?
it's both, really. Stephen Chow was then somehow brought aboard the project, which at first
who's he
seemed like
supposed
an
to be?
inspired choice. His penchant for martial arts comedies was a perfect fit for the source material,
Shaolin
but
soccer?
it quickly
What?
became apparent that his name was simply being used as a marketing strategy
What
rather
the-
than him
what
being
happened?
a true creative force. We call this the Quentin Tarantino Presents effect.
Oh.
Now, when this new creative team was publicly announced, Fox played it coy on who would actually be sitting in the director's chair until it was eventually revealed
To be who?
that James Wong, a veteran writer/director of
Do we
TV,
know what Akira
as well
Toriyama
as the Final
said about
Destination
this?
franchise,
I haven't
would
seen
be
Final
given
Destination.
that chair. In a statement,
Hey, I
Stephen
went and saw
Chow
Deadpool
said
and Wolverine
that he
last
himself
night,
was
okay?
a fan of Toriyama's work, saying that it's an airy and unrestrained story, which leaves much room for creation.
Does it?
Okay, that just seems like code for there's gonna be different shit.
Yeah,
in here,
there's gonna be
just
way
letting you
different.
know. As for why he wasn't directing himself, well, because he felt that he should only direct things that he himself created. You know, fair enough, but tinfoil hat time, there's also the possibility he simply didn't want to work under those Fox producers on
Yeah.
a rush script with a massively slashed
Or-
budget. Because
that's
very
it?
quickly,
That's all the
changes
budget?
started to happen, or evolutions. While initially announced as simply Dragon Ball,
That was bad,
Evolution
Matt.
was tacked on because I don't have an answer
Goku.
for that.
No.
Just a cool
I don't
word
think
that
so.
Fox marketing thought kids would respond
Oh yeah, that
to.
that was a scene in this.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Changes very much then spread to the working script, as it's been reported that it was much more faithful to the source material and even featured well-loved fan-favorite character, the Ox King. Also, they plan to include Krillin as well. After some
Krillin.
serious brainstorming, though, Fox felt it was simply too expensive to realistically shoot and asked for
So
rewrites
instead
to
of
reduce
just
the
getting
scale
rid of
and
it
scope,
altogether,
a
they just
decision which would
went through
totally
with it.
not turn out to be what happened material at all. Now, while Ben Ramsey did rewrites, apparently that still wasn't good enough, and James Wong himself
I don't think they had the
also
budget
contributed
they could have
quite
done it
heavily
right.
to the script. Akira Toriyama was also consulted, and when I say
Rest in peace.
consulted, I mean ignored. He attempted to offer suggestions throughout this script writing process as well as during the actual filming, but several sources cited that these suggestions were never taken seriously.
Bro,
This, of
how
course,
do you
would then cause
ignore
huge
Akira
ripples
Toriyama?
in the pool of time, which we will dip into
Also,
a bit
that's a
later.
Lego door.
Casting apparently was also a bit of a to-do, with producers hoping to snag some big stars by attempting to maybe hide some facts about the production in order to get them to sign on the dotted line. Ron Perlman was sought to play Lord Piccolo with a lucrative offer, but dropped out at the last second, opting for red makeup instead of green, and filmed Hellboy 2: The Golden Army instead, which might have
Whatever
been the
that is.
fastest anyone's ever dodged the biggest bullet ever. The part then
Also,
went to James
that was the video
Spike
messing up there.
Marsters, who was familiar with Dragon Ball and really relished doing the best possible job he could, given the material. The really bad material.
Defeat, Ozaru. When the blood moon eclipses the sun, you will become Ozaru.
Also, wait, he doesn't have antennas though.
Now, as for Goku, you can say a lot about the performance of Justin Chatwin, and believe me, people have, but one thing you can say about the guy is that he at least did his homework.
Did he actually watch Dragon Ball?
In preparation for the role, he read volumes and volumes of the manga, watched a ton of the anime, and even went the extra mile to read Dragon Ball's inspiration, Journey to the West.
Yes.
So, good on him.
Sun Wukong.
Unfortunately, when the script recasts Goku as a moody teenager who has to navigate high school bullies, go to parties, and has more interest in dating girls than training and fighting, well, he wasn't really playing Goku at all anymore. Now, while on the subject of Chatwin, the subject of his hair is never really far behind. Early tests had all the actors outfitted with over-the-top wigs to better mimic
what do
the
you mean
original
over-the-top? Like what?
Apparently, though,
we don't have footage of that?
Was not satisfactory for the director, James Wong, who felt it best to keep the actors' hair as natural as possible. Which explains that one green
their hair is
streak
pretty
in Emily Rossum's
natural.
hair. Honestly, while many fans had issues
the hair's
with
like
this,
that
I really doubt the inclusion of wigs would have improved the movie's anything. Random changes like these permeated throughout the rest of the production. Master Roshi, for example, instead of being an elderly hermit living it up in a tiny tropical island, was played by the much younger Chow Yun-Fat, who lived in a downtown apartment. Oh, but look, see, it kind of has a Hawaiian shirt on, so
he's supposed to be Roshi. Does he have a talking
Goku's
turtle?
Ozaru form, oh god. was a generic human-sized werewolf-like thing beast in the final film, and
was that when Twilight was popular?
Even worse during the initial filming, until people with, I guess, eyes looked at it. All of these horrible decisions were
all those people feel
to
are just
keeping
like
a more grounded and believable tone.
Do we trust this process?
You don't want to scare off the normies, while also having the added benefit of being really cheap. Now,
you don't need to bring in new people. All you need is the fan base.
Actually helped the movie was James Marsters taking a bit of creative liberty with Piccolo. The original approved makeup design had him looking far more human and strangely far more attractive. Now, since Marsters was a fan of Dragon Ball, once he got in the makeup chair, he worked with the main artist on set to change the look pretty dramatically. And
that was okay.
James Wong didn't fight this change and wound up being what you saw in the finished film, looking about as accurate as you could really hope for in a production like this. Now, as for the actual filming, as you can probably surmise, it was a bit rough, as a good chunk of it had to be filmed.
Where? What? Wasn't it?
As a good chunk of it had to be filmed in an abandoned and unair-conditioned jeans factory in Durango, Mexico. Now, why was this so? Yeah, you guessed it. It would save dramatically in terms of on-location filming. James Marsters
air conditioning,
this
wearing all that makeup and costumes with lights.
Yeah, they told me it was a $120 million picture and that Stephen Chow was producing. Stephen Chow, who did Kung Fu Hustle. So I get to Durango, Mexico, and it's a $30 million picture, and Stephen Chow was just on paper to fool us into getting down to Durango, Mexico. Chow Yun-Fat and I were cursing in the desert over this, like, son of a bitch. So, yeah, filming pretty much went like that. In fact, it went so well, they even decided to film some more.
What do you mean?
While originally scheduled to release in 2008, it somehow missed that date.
What do you mean
I
somehow?
guess the editor or producers looked at it and decided reshoots were absolutely necessary.
Oh, really?
Now, while this is indeed common in a lot of productions, it
Gohan.
does
It's Grandpa
tend to
Gohan.
occur in shows where the script becomes an issue. After said reshoots were completed, Dragon Ball Evolution was then set to under-deliver in theaters.
Do you think they're ever gonna make a live-action Dragon Ball film?
Now, at some point,
if it does, it's going to have to be
a
crazy budget.
And even planned that this was going to kick off an entire movie franchise.
I don't know if they will after Akira's being gone.
Despite you know, all the massive fan backlash in regards to the everything? Well, it's unclear just how much planning had been done on future films.
The dislike
post-credit
button.
scene of Evolution
Whoa.
certainly.
Speaking of
and
which, likes are
stupidly
really important if you enjoy the
more,
video.
like many
It's greatly
movies
appreciated.
trying to
And I'll read all your
exist
comments.
well beyond their means. Leading into the actual premiere of Evolution, that same confidence, strangely, was nowhere to be seen. It was a film that Fox elected to not be screened for critics. Therefore, there would be no day one reviews to
Notice
inform
that
the
every movie
audience
that does
about
that
its,
doesn't go well.
Quality. We've talked about this before on previous movie episodes of What Happened, as this is a common tactic studios employ when they know they have a massive stinker on their hands.
Oh,
And in
so
this case, they
if
had a
critics
massive
don't
stinker
get
on their
early
hands,
previews of it,
farting
then-
in with a 14% on Rotten Tomatoes.
surprised it's double digits.
Dragon Ball made just $9 million in total in North America on a budget of 30, not counting marketing.
Oof.
Worldwide, however, it bottomed out at around 58
How?
million, so
International-
it's safe
who?
to say
Who's
that
watching
it
this?
likely didn't even post a profit. If there were any concrete plans to make sequels, then they
No.
were quickly final flashed off the face of the planet.
No, this isn't happening.
What game
There's
is
no
this?
reason for me to go on. What am I fighting for?
His mouth's not
James
even moving.
Wong never directed a motion picture again,
That
opting to
ended-
go back to TV, where he directed and wrote a few episodes of the X-Files revival. Ben
That
Ramsey,
ended
for
his movie
part,
career?
formally apologized for the part he played in this whole disaster. I knew that it would eventually come down to this one day. Dragon Ball Evolution marked a very painful creative point in my life.
Yeah.
To have something with my name on it as the writer be so globally reviled is gut-wrenching. To receive hate mail from all the world is heartbreaking.
All of the world.
I spent so many years trying to deflect the blame, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to the written word on page, and I take full responsibility for what was such a disappointment to so many fans. I did the best I
was
could.
it just fans, or
At
was
the
it
end
just
of the day,
anybody in the
I
theaters?
dropped the Dragon Ball. I know what it's like
I
to have
dropped the
something you love
dropped
and
ball.
anticipate be so disappointing. To all
Last
DB
Airbender.
fans out there, I sincerely apologize. There is, of course, a silver lining to all of this. Since his experience helping develop the film was abjectly miserable and frustrating, it is what spurred Toriyama to return to the franchise that made him famous. This
Oh, really?
culminated in Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, which was a big hit
Oh.
in Japan, and since it only needed to be dubbed and had a small theatrical run, was also a big hit for Funimation. This
Huh.
then led to all the
Golden
subsequent films, and
Frieza.
finally into Dragon Ball Super, which kicked off an entirely new and still ongoing saga. No, not
Which,
that
now
saga.
we have
Get
the
that
next-
shit out of here. So
And now we
pretty
have
much
the
all
next one
these
coming
new
out
Dragon Ball
later, in a couple
characters,
months, actually, later this
storylines,
year,
lore, and
I
games
think,
were
right?
Simply
They're fighters.
birthed out of the desire to erase the memory of evolution.
What is going on? Oh, I lost internet.
From the collective subconscious of fans the world over, to not let this be
Okay.
the last image
So-
people see when they think of Dragon Ball.
My internet just went
Toriyama
out for
even said as
almost
much.
6 hours.
Dragon Ball once became a
great.
thing of the past for me, but
I don't need that
after
or anything.
I got angry about the live-action movie, rewrote an entire.
Oh, yeah, I remember people
script
telling me that
myself,
in the comment section
and now
of the
I'm
Nostalgia
complaining
Create
about
video.
the quality of the new TV
They're like, that's the
anime,
one
so
good
it
thing.
seems that DB has grown on me so much that
He had
I
a,
can't leave
a
it alone.
role to play
if
in
you
the-
know of any other games, movies, or anime adaptations,
I waited 6
that are
hours
right
to finish
be
this
exposed
video
on our stage, scream them out in the comments below.
that quote from
Take a
Akira
flying
Toriyama.
Nimbus cloud over to my Twitter or instant
Where's my
transmit
Twitter followers and
yourself
I have
into the
subscribers?
Flophouse VIP Patreon
Crazy.
and use the 7 magic balls to make your wish come
I have the Dragon Balls.
true.
It didn't work
See you
bringing the
next
internet
time,
back.
And thanks for watching.
Apparently, also the original video is linked down below in the description. Check that with the credits. I don't want the music to get copywritten, but it feels good to finally finish this video, even if my internet goes down again, because it was down for like 5 hours, and then it came back, and then it was up for less than 10 minutes, and then it went down again for another hour. So maybe we're back. I don't know. I still have 5 more videos to record after this, and I really hope you enjoyed this video with what happened to Dragon Ball Evolution. Like I said, the one good thing that came out of it was Akira Toriyama coming back to the franchise. If you want to see my first time ever seeing anything Dragon Ball Evolution related, you can definitely check out the Nostalgia Critic video by Dragon Ball, or Nostalgia Critic video talking about Dragon Ball Evolution, which, oh god, does he have, he has Little Karibo, and the other guy, is that Goku's voice actor, I want to say. I reacted to Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge, that's why I'm so familiar with Little Karibo, but I believe that is actually the first Nostalgia video I ever did. It'll be the first one in the playlist, and that is the longest running weekly series on the channel. But I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was an absolute nightmare for me to finally get this done, because I think I finally have it. I keep looking down at the router and modem to make sure that I still have internet, because I fear they could go down at any moment. But hopefully I was able to splice that together, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it made your day a tiny little better. Likes are always appreciated. It actually helps the channel a ton, and I could not do this if it was not for the patience. So shout out to them, and shout out to all the people who watched the video. I look forward to reading your comments. But until next one, take care, and kitty music.
We were playing as so